Hey everybody, I'm Chris Lyon. I'm here today chatting with director. Now we're live. Hi everybody, I'm Chris Lyon. I'm with the Louisiana Film Prize 2016, and I'm joined here today by with director Jonnie Stapleton, who directed The Man from Mars for this year's competition. Welcome, Jonnie.
How you doing, Chris?
Louisiana Film Prize 2016. Uh-oh.
Getting feedback? Is it good now?
There we go. Sorry, it was playing on another.
Another. Gotcha.
Live stream playing in another window. All right, let's try that again. So, Jonnie, welcome.
Glad to be here in my place.
Awesome. I see you have a poster back there. That's pretty swanky
Yeah,
stuff.
it's a little shameless plug right here. It's not even on the wall. It's just resting on a suitcase. But yeah, you can.
So that means you're packed and ready to go, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna try to fit this in my I wasn't sure if you guys were gonna have a poster there for us, so I was just gonna bring one along just in case.
We will have a poster for you, my friend.
So I can leave this. I don't need this.
You don't have to worry about that.
I'll leave it right here. I'll leave it on the suitcase.
You put it back there. We can see it. It'll be great.
Cool. Good to know.
All right. Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to be,
part of the film.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, if you guys know, two pretty cool guys named Alex Jeffrey and Paul Peterson, they're all right. They won last year with the bespoke tailoring of Mr. Bellamy. And funny story, I was not part of that production, but I was part of. We had this little, I don't know if people are familiar with Voxer, but people can chat through Voxer, and you can have a conversation with multiple people at a time. And they were throwing around ideas back and forth. And I was part of the chat, but I didn't contribute at all. I was just listening to the conversation. And I was thinking, oh man, this sounds like some really good ideas. And so it was exciting for me because I kind of got to hear the formulation of the concept. And then they went and did it. And I was thinking, oh, this is probably a long shot. And then they ended up winning. So I was thinking, man, I should have tried to be a bigger part of that concept. But anyways, so they did. Very excited for them. It was kind of an exciting time for all of our friends and anyone who knew them. And we kind of have our little filmmaking team here. Two guys who people will meet soon at the Film Prize: Domenico Grasso, co-writer / cinematographer / producer, and Mike Nicholas, also co-writer / jack of all trades. We kind of started talking about ideas, and so I went out there and did a little scouting session.
Sure.
And my dad met me, and we kind of just drove around a little bit. He had already scouted out the town of Ringgold and said, hey, we should, you should shoot your film here. And so we went down there and checked it out, and the people of the community were awesome. And we just decided, okay, this is where we're going to do it. And that's kind of how it sort of came to be, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about the story.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a little log line. Set it up for us. What is The Man from Mars about?
Okay, so The Man from Mars is about a cynical podcast host who travels around from small town to small town in his RV, interviewing local celebrities who are kind of famous in their communities for ridiculous things. For example, someone trying to get in the Guinness Book of World Records for eating the most onions in 10 minutes. And he interviews them in a way where he seems as though he's enamored and fascinated by them, but he's actually making fun of them, and all of his listeners are in on the joke. So then he finds this woman down in Louisiana named Mama, who has her entire community believe that she's the second coming of Jesus Christ. And he basically goes there for his show in hopes to kind of have one of the best guests he could ever have and make fun of her. And then he kind of has a pretty interesting experience down there. So I guess we'll just kind of leave it at that for the time being. But
that's a great place to leave it too, because there's so many things that happen in between. And the guy who plays the guy who's eating
Corey
well, no, the onion guy.
Onions, Gabe.
Gabe. Yeah. He looks like a guy who would try to eat a bunch of onions.
That guy was fantastic. We got so lucky with him, and he was just a joy to have on set. And he did it. I mean, he really ate those onions. And I mean, he despised onions. So when I talked to him on the phone about it, it's like, just so you know, we don't have prop onions. We're not that kind of production. We don't have, you know, other things you can eat. But what we did do, and I thought this is, you know, nice and all right, he didn't actually have to vomit or anything. We shoot him eating the onions, and then we made this sort of vomit mix, which is actually a mixture of cookies, water, and mashed up. And then we put in chunks of apple in there, which my mom cut up. She's so sweet. We put in chunks of apple for it to, you know, be the onion chunks, as you can imagine.
Yeah,
so
chunky, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we started talking about casting just inadvertently there, but let's back up and let's introduce kind of who your two leads are.
Yep.
How you came across them.
Okay, so we did kind of an open casting call here in Los Angeles, and where we basically had people come in and read for the two leads. We knew those leads we were ready to cast from anywhere. So we also put out, people could submit online. I put in casting calls through kind of areas near Louisiana, but then also all over. So, you know, we were ready to fly people down there. And Corey came in and he read for that and another project we were auditioning, and he was great for both of them. We ended up only using him for this one. And yeah, and now we're like really good friends with him, so that worked out really well. And so we flew him down there. Didn't really know him beforehand, had met maybe once or twice. And then Alfra Lynn, who plays Mama, she sent in a video along with several other actresses, and she was the best. She lives in Dallas, Texas, and so it was also nice for us because instead of paying for the flights, just compensating for gas, so it was saved money. But it also just worked out that she happened to be the best actress for the role, and she lived near the area. So she drove down there and met us, and those two basically, like, well, I guess they did get to meet for a lunch that we had in Dallas, but then they, you know, no real rehearsals or anything, just kind of jumping right into it, and they did great. I mean, they were a blast to work with, and I thought that they kind of elevated the material. So it was.
Yeah. Well, they you know, especially the woman who plays Mama really feels like she belonged here.
Yeah.
She slid right into that role, which was wonderful. And of course, you also used some people that were local, right? And you had kind of some door-to-door action and some other things. Like, how did you involve the community in that?
So with Ringgold, we used a few people that I had met down there, just kind of as extras in the background and stuff. And most of it was, you know, we have the shop owner, Pam, who runs the secondhand clothing shop, and going in there and asking her if she would like to sort of be in the background and that sort of thing. And then for a lot of there's a lot of sort of smaller supporting roles who come in for one or two scenes, have a few lines, but you still want someone good in the role. And so we put out actually a bunch of casting notices for like 10 different smaller roles, and kind of would have people submit videos where they're just basically going through the lines in the few scenes, and got mostly people from some people from Shreveport, some people from surrounding Louisiana towns, and then some people from Dallas. I don't know if anyone was really further than 3 to 5 hours away, but then they would drive there. And then we had the bar scene, which we got as many people as we could from the community. And then also the city of El Dorado, I'm a big fan of, and I try to go down there and visit whenever I can. And they have the El Dorado Film Festival, which I've been to a few times with Paul Peterson, and Alex Jeffrey runs that. Or he helps run that. And so we used some of the people who were kind of involved in that, and sort of just some of the people we've met down there and kind of worked with, and they were all incredibly helpful. So we got to involve them, and they helped, you know, line up large props like this big puppet show set and different things like that. But then we also tried to get as many of them involved in the film as possible. And
right.
Yeah, they were great.
So where was that? There's a scene, I don't want to spoil it. Maybe it was in a trailer, or maybe it wasn't. There's a scene where he goes out on the town.
Yes.
You know,
at the
bar.
Yes.
Was the bar in Ringgold too?
No, the bar is in your town of Shreveport, and it is
that Strange Brew?
It's Strange Brew. Yeah. Trey, if you know Trey, he was so fantastic. And
I thought I recognized it, but because it was set like in this small town, setting, I thought for sure that you had found something that just looked incredibly similar to that. But
yeah. No, it was great. I mean, he was awesome, and Domenico came in there, and he's a cinematographer, and he and Mike were setting up all the lights, and he kind of gave us a lot of freedom there. We didn't know. We were kind of expecting to come in and have to possibly tiptoe around because we didn't know Trey that well. I had met him on the scouting session that I did, and thought this guy seems really cool. But obviously with filmmaking, you don't want to press your luck too much, and it ended up just being fantastic. I mean, we went down there, and he brought out the ladder for us, and we're stringing up these lights. And I mean, he actually let us leave up all the strung up bulbs. I don't know if they're still there, but we ended up. He liked how they looked, but yeah, I mean that worked out great, and we got to use their stage there, and they already had lights set up there, so it was just kind of a matter of deciding what look we wanted to go for.
It had a very high production value, that scene. So it was. I was really wanting to know a little bit more about that, but. So let's talk a little bit about the production itself, the filming. Let's talk about your cinematographer. Let's talk about sound. What was it? How many days did you shoot? What's the skinny on that?
Okay, all right. So we went down there. We drove from Los Angeles in my vehicle, and we have a crew of 3. And the guys I mentioned before, Domenico Grasso and Mike Nicholas, they're my boys, and we kind of have our little unit where we come up with these concepts together. Domenico was the original one with the concept, and then we kind of took it and kind of shaped it into something that we thought would work and also fit into 15 minutes, which is always a fun challenge too. Right. So we loaded up the car. We decided not to fly because we had too much equipment and it would have been too expensive, and we also wanted wheels while we're out there. So we drove, and it was a really pretty fun road trip. It took about a day and a half to get there. I would say Mike did about 98% of the driving. And it was pretty awesome of him. Like I said, he's kind of the guy who fills in all of the extra crew roles. Right. So when we got there, he was our sound guy. He was my assistant director, best boy, grip, first camera, all those, pretty much like filling in wherever we needed it. And Domenico, as a cinematographer, I'm just going to pimp him out real quick. So any people who are potentially looking to hire a cinematographer for their film, whether it's for the film prize or something in the future, his rates, I think, are pretty darn fair, and he is a workhorse. He will pretty much do everything in his power to set things up the way you want them to, and he's like a great collaborator. He has great ideas himself, so half the time I don't really need to like guide him in any way. He does his thing, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's amazing. We'll put the camera on, and this is gonna look great. And that's sort of what happened down there. And we shot on the Sony A7S. We shot a couple very brief bits with the Blackmagic, mostly just for slow motion purposes. And and it was a struggle. I wish we would have had maybe a couple more people. We did. My parents did come down and meet us, and they helped out with some things as well, so it was nice having them there. And then another guy named Dennis Hirschberger, who's kind of our Ringgold representative. He ended up actually helping out multiple times on set and just kind of being that other person. So we ended up getting other people to kind of help out throughout the process. But it was obviously, it's hot. I'm sure everybody talks about, when you're shooting in the middle of June, it's gonna be pretty hot. So there was that, but it was also it was a really good time and met some incredible people. And I mean, at the end of every day, even though we were exhausted, we were just like, we love this. This is amazing. I mean, we're only getting 3 hours of sleep, but we don't care. It's just, I couldn't really believe how welcoming and I guess just all around great to work with the people were down there. I mean, we were kind of blown away. So, I mean, if that wasn't the case, I don't know how things would have turned out, but because of that, it kind of alleviated that other aspect of, okay, are we gonna have problems shooting here? We want to shoot in the street here. We want to go inside this place, and we want to move these things around, and never had any problems. It was great. Oh.
Well, it's I think that experience is shared by a lot of people who come to work on projects for the Film Prize, and certainly Shreveport has it, but there's just something about getting out of a town that has so much going on. Los Angeles, New York, New Orleans, Atlanta. These small towns that don't have so much going on, people are a little bit more excited about it.
It's very excited.
But we do. It's one thing we definitely love to share about the Film Prize in general. So tell me a little bit about the post-production process. So, obviously shooting in June, you had a pretty tight turnaround for
like a week and a half, I think, because we were at the very tail end actually of June. It was closer to in the mid-20s, I think, or around there. So it was pretty quick once we got back, and we pretty much would do. Domenico and I would more or less do the editing in shifts, and then we would send certain parts of the film to Mike to work on. And then Mike's job was kind of his main task was the less fun part of trying to create the sort of like the online elements of the film. Like if you're watching part that is supposed to be through a site kind of similar to YouTube or his own site and that kind of a thing, that was Mike's main task. So he kind of got the After Effects, and he's learning all of these things for the first time. So he's tutorial sort of, and he's doing a great job, but he's, for us, it's a little bit more of a rewarding process because you can spend maybe a couple hours and you can have this scene done. For him, it's, you spend 6 hours and you have a 4-second clip, of that sort of thing. But so Domenico and I kind of went back and forth. He did the color correction, and then we kind of just, when I wasn't editing and I was working, then he would be editing and just going back and forth. And a lot of times I'm pretty picky when it comes to the way things are cut, and pretty much every scene that he edited, I didn't end up really making any changes to it. So we did that, and we got things that I actually feel kind of bad saying this, but I had a trip planned back to see my family in Nebraska over the 4th of July, and that was obviously right kind of in the end of crunch time. So I kind of entrusted Domenico to finish things up and put a little bit of that burden on him. Like, hey, so this needs to be done, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, this needs to be done. You handle that and ship it all out, and I'm going to go have fun with my family. And yeah. He handled it like a champ. He's like, okay, do it. I got it, man. It's fine. And he's Italian, by the way. So if you hear me imitate him, it's a very accurate.
Is he going to come down for the festival?
Oh, yeah. I think we'll have a decent, hopefully, representation down there. Domenico and Mike will both be there. My parents will be there, who are lovely, and Corey, our lead, and Alpha Lynn, our other lead. They'll both be coming down there as well. Gabe, the Onion guy, will be there, and yeah, I think there will be a fair number of people because we actually had quite a few people involved in the end. A lot of them might only be in 1 or 2 small scenes, but it was probably at the end a cast of, I would say, close to 40, or kind of in that vicinity. So there's a lot of people I think that hopefully will be coming to see the film. And I'm planning a Man from Mars sort of party on Strange Brew, where we shot the dance scene on Friday night. Trey doesn't know this yet, but I'm sure he's going to be fine with it. So I'll have to send him a message. I'm sure he'll be game though. But I'm thinking, we'll probably be heading there maybe around 9 or something like that, and just kind of getting as many of the cast who are in town at the time and people who were involved in the film there as possible, and just kind of hang out and have some beers and talk about movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's something we can dance and recreate some moments from the film.
Well, you were getting towards what I was going to hit on, which is, there has to be a bucket of onions.
Yeah. I would be down to do it, actually. I almost want to try it because, we had 2 different people who had to do it in the film, and I don't like onions.
You didn't do it with them?
Well, there's not much purpose for me to do it other than
camaraderie, man. You gotta take the dive.
They both handled it so well that they didn't need any comrades in their struggle. But I actually would be would be down for that. You know, that whole idea kind of stemmed from one of our good friends who we used to do these food challenges, and his name's Ty Hudson. He's probably not watching. He's teaching right now, but we would do these food challenges where we would make each other eat these terrible things, and he hated onions, so we made him like eat an onion as if it was an apple, and he took one bite and he threw up all over the place. So that was sort of the stem of like, oh man, that's funny. Let's try to incorporate that into something, you know. And there apparently is a world record for most onions consumed in a, you know, like that's an actual thing. So,
well, I'll tell you, you should get up to speed before you hit the tweets so that you can answer those questions.
Yeah,
you can know that it was 38 onions in 10 minutes or some ridiculous. Like, I can't even imagine. I get a headache just thinking about it.
I don't. Are you sure that's right? Because I did some research there, and what I found is that 20 was actually way more than you could consume. But maybe I don't know. I need to look. Maybe my facts are old. Or did you?
I'm just making stuff up and hoping. How many? A world record onion eating.
Check it out.
We're gonna find this out. Oh, that's the time to eat one raw onion. So we could extrapolate that out in theory, right?
What? So, how long is it for one onion?
One onion is 43.53 seconds.
43. Yeah. So I mean, I'm not good at math. So if you want to figure that one out.
Well, 600 seconds in 10 minutes. So we do 600 divided by 43.53. And you come up with 26
stuff we're doing.
26 onions in theory.
Okay, but you have to think of the fatigue that would happen as you know, that first one you're gonna have a lot of power and stuff. So the more you eat, the tougher it's gonna be. So I mean, actually, right. 20 onions in 10 minutes is probably pretty close to.
That was a good number that you had. I should never have questioned for a minute.
You made a mistake. No.
Super error. All right, so I want to start kind of heading towards the end here, but I want to do a couple of things. First, I want you to think about kind of the moment or moments that were like, hallelujah, this is going to work moments, and holy shit, this isn't going to work moments, if you had any.
Oh, yeah. That's a fun.
While you're thinking about that, I'm going to tell people that are watching, Louisiana Film Prize, man, a week from now the first screening will be over. So it's coming up close. It's Friday, September 29th, and Friday, September 30th, and Saturday, the 1st of October, we're showing these films. We have an opening night party on Thursday, the 29th. The winner will be announced on Sunday, not this coming Sunday, obviously, but the weekend after, and someone's going to get a $50,000 check. We hope you get your tickets. Come check out the schedule, of course, Man from Mars, all at lafilmprize.com, and you can explore everything, schedules, films, and buy those tickets. So, all right, now that Johnny's had a chance to think about his best and worst moments,
yes.
I want to tell us what you come up with.
Okay, so I'll throw out one of each. So the worst moment was probably it was like partway through our first like legitimate like day of shooting. It's towards the morning, and I got a message from the guy. So Gabe, who plays our onion guy, which is a pretty important role in the film. He actually was not the original person that we had cast. It was kind of a tough choice for me, but I actually thought like Gabe, when I kind of saw his audition and everything, I was like, well, this guy, he kind of seems too cool to be this person. And there was another guy who just kind of like fit that mold, I thought, a little bit better, and like had more of the appearance for what we had kind of envisioned. And so we cast that guy, and he had some sort of emergency that came up that he couldn't get out of that the day before we were filming those scenes. So it's a pretty important role, and we wanted someone really strong since it opens up the film. And we're kind of freaking out a little bit, and I called Gabe, who I'm basically saying, hey Gabe, can you all be available tomorrow to drive from, I think he was in Dallas, to Ringgold to shoot these scenes? And he was so game for it. And that's one of the things it kind of went from being an oh crap moment to kind of a hallelujah moment in itself, because not only was he able to do it, he showed up, and he's more of a theater actor. He hasn't done much film. I don't know, to be honest, if he actually has done any film. And he was so great. I mean, he was able to just like slip kind of right into that thing. A lot of actors have a hard time making that transition, but he just got right into it. And we suddenly realized as soon as we started shooting the scene, and I was talking to Domenico and Mike, like, oh, this guy's perfect. Now I can't imagine anyone else doing this role. Just like sort of the energy that he brought to it, kind of that sort of, I'm excited. I might be a little dumb and naive, but I think this is great. And yeah, he ended up killing it and being, you know, some people's like favorite little part of the film. So that ended up kind of turning around. There was a lot of stress in between that. And the other like kind of hallelujah moment was sort of the last day of shooting was at Strange Brew, and we started with a rehearsal of a large group of actors in the morning. And it was fun for me because, I mean, I knew that scene. I kind of had it in my head, so I knew it was going to be something pretty cool and fun. But Domenico didn't necessarily know what was going to go down exactly. I had explained it to him, but when he was seeing like everything sort of come together, he was like a little kid on Christmas. And I'm going to make fun of him a little now because it was honestly adorable. He's like, dude, oh my God. And he's like freaking out, and he's getting all excited to shoot this whole sequence. And it was really, really exciting. So then like I started feeding off his excitement of like, oh yeah, this is going to be pretty awesome, isn't it? This is going to be really cool. And then sure enough, we get to the location, and he's already got, he and Mike had already set up most of the lights. And because I was meeting them there with some of the actors a little bit later, and just, you know, that was like a day where our schedule was set up correctly. We didn't necessarily have to rush anything. We kind of take our time. The other days were like, let's plow through this. We're supposed to get done at 8, and now it's 11 type of scenarios where you're just kind of going and yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I guess that whole scene, also knowing it's like this is the last day of shooting, and then it coming together the way it did, and Corey and Alfred Lynn, who are doing some dancing and stuff, and that's probably not in their wheelhouse in terms of like things that they would market themselves as dancers, but they brought it, and it was really fun to see that. It was a great time.
That's awesome. Those are great stories, and I've been told that there's another story though that I need to hear about. And
oh yeah,
it says, ask Jonnie about almost poking the Walmart worker's eye out.
Oh. So I have the tendency to kind of go in tunnel vision when we're kind of in the middle of shooting, whether that's running errands or doing things. I don't like notice other things, and sometimes that can be dangerous. So when we were at Walmart, and we pretty much ran to Walmart so many times. I mean, I should do a plug for Walmart right now because they were kind of our main stop shop for all of our props. That rhymed. So anyways, we're there, and I'm loading up stuff, and I'm there with Mike, and I'm kind of frazzled a little bit because I know we're behind schedule, and I have a fishing pole among other things, and I'm moving around, and I keep hitting people with this fishing pole, like the end of it, and I think it was the cashier even after I had kind of hit her, and she's like, hey, like, watch where you're going. I was like, oh yeah, sorry. And Mike's like, Jonnie, are you like, I must have seemed like a crazy person. It's like, no, I got this. And then I think it was right, like about to poke her in the eye, and then she got real mad, and then Mike's like, let me take this stuff. And yeah, it was a nice little awkward moment, sort of a realization of, I don't really know what's going on right now. I'm thinking about the movie, and I probably need to think about like actually not injuring Walmart workers. I don't know.
Right.
It was fun.
It's an important part of any production is not hurting people.
Exactly. I'm still learning, you know, or we're just getting started here. So, well.
Absolutely. Well, is there anything that you wanted to talk about that maybe I didn't prompt you on? Is there anything that you want to say to people before we wrap things up?
Well, I'm going to do one little plug here because I would feel bad if I didn't. A film that we made a couple years ago with the same crew, and actually quite a few other people and friends and stuff involved. It's called Best of Seven. I actually am in that one several times as multiple roles. It's on iTunes right now. It'll be on Amazon pretty soon. So we made it with pretty much no money and a lot of love. And you can go on iTunes right now and check that out. Otherwise, I hope we have a great time down there. I mean, I think it's going to be awesome, and I hope people come out and check it out and have fun, and come to the Man from Mars party at Strange Brew around 9 o'clock next Friday. And yeah, can't wait.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Jonnie. And we have to do closing here, right?
What?
We have to do our Viva la Film Prize.
Okay.
You familiar with this? All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Viva la
Film Prize. Sorry, that was a pretty pathetic. I wasn't totally sure what I was going to say there.
Or you can do it again if you want.
Yeah, I'm saying Viva la Film Prize, right?
Yeah, that's right. You ready?
1, 2, 3. Viva la Film Prize. Oh, you're not saying it with me that time. I'm just alone here.
Oh, I thought you were doing a makeup chant.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I killed the moment now.
No, we got it. Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Jonnie, and we'll see you guys soon.
Yep.
Tickets again, lafilmprize.com. Come out, enjoy the fest. See you guys later.